Hey guys, welcome back to another Random Distractions where we're playing Tell Me Why Chapter 3. And in this one, we're going to try to see if we can open that chest now that we know the letters. Looks like we have an orange E, a yellow O, and a red L, which I noticed the colors here.
All right, should be easy enough.
Okay, orange E. And the yellow O, Leo, Leo.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Did it just get darker in here?
A baby blanket?
And this one's to Allison and Ollie.
Ollie. She noticed.
Dear Allison and
That
Ollie,
was her son.
we write stories to understand and be understood, but what good is a story without a first act? I'm sorry I kept mine from you for so long. All my love, Goblins.
Why does she have a photo of that tree locked in here?
Well, that's where the baby's buried. Must be him.
Leo Ronan.
Why didn't she tell us about him? Why didn't she tell us any of this?
I mean, it's fucking terrible. That's why. Allie, did we do the right thing opening this?
We did. It's better we know what happened, even if it's hard. And there's one more thing we need to see.
Are you sure?
Yes. Come on, let's go to the dock. It's time to finish this.
What about the rest of the stuff?
Crafty Goblin's loot.
That's from The Princess and the Two Thieves. I drew the original.
And I distinctly remember drawing that cake, which is arguably the best part of that illustration.
All right, Picasso. And you probably remember what the goblins stole in that story, huh?
Nope. Let's see. Crafty Goblins steal. Let's see. Princess and the Two Thieves. There we go. So, once upon a time in an ancient and deep forest, there lived a wise princess in a big wooden house. The house was built from the strong wood of the forest, and it kept the princess warm and safe. The princess was not a native of the forest, but she never spoke about where she had come from, for it made her cry. She did not have many friends, but that was how she liked it. The forest was big and deep, and many paths led to her house, but not many visitors passed by. The princess was happy to be left alone in the big house in the deep forest. She knew that the forest would provide for her, but that its generosity had to be respected, so she only took what she needed. And for a long time, life was just fine for the princess in the big wooden house. One winter day, when snow blanketed the earth and ice bent the trees low, the wise princess realized that food was disappearing from her house. It was not much at first, only a few fruits and nuts. Okay, so fruits and nuts, and eggs vanishing during the night. Maybe it's the birds. She said, or the mice. And for a time, the princess was okay with losing some food. So fruits, nuts, eggs. I'm trying to write this down so I'll remember. And let's see. But then small items started to disappear as well. Spoons and plates. Spoons and plates. Forks and knives. And then blankets. All right. It was as if every time she was in one part of the house, something disappeared in another room. That can't be birds or mice, said the princess. I think I have a thief. So she went outside to look for traces in the snow and noises in the wind, but there was nothing to be found nor to be heard. That's strange, said the princess. Maybe the thief is hiding inside my house. For many days she hunted, looking behind the curtains and under the bed, in the attic and the chimney, behind the poles and under the carpets, but she found nothing, and as she searched, food kept on disappearing night after night. I will make a cake, frowned the princess. A big cake, with every egg and fruit and nut I still have, so that I only have one thing to keep my eye on. She spent the whole day making the cake and using everything she had left. The cake she made was so big she could hardly carry it. If I manage to protect the cake, I'll be able to survive the long winter, she said. So she added a lock to the oven, and she kept the big cake safe inside. But the next morning, the lock had been opened, and the cake had disappeared. At first, the princess cried because that cake was the last of her food until the snow melted. But then she noticed 2 trails of tiny feet in the spilled flour, and she followed the tracks to a hidden hatch in the floorboards. This is how the princess realized that 2 tiny thieves were living under the wooden house right below her feet. Okay, so food, fruit. That looks like fruit, and that could be nuts and eggs, or over here. So
Maybe they took some of the princess's fruit? Some flour for the cake, maybe?
no, not flour for the cake.
Actually, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they stole some eggs.
Yep, and there's still some
What
spoons.
if they took some spoons?
There it is.
That's it. I always wondered where that drawing went. She said it was her favorite, and then one day it just disappeared.
You're the best mom in the world, the prettiest princess.
Hey, now that we're done with the important stuff, maybe we can take a crack at these?
Oh, these must be the...
Here, the secret keeper, hiding secrets in the clouds. Gold Lady stays locked up in her castle. We'll let the mangy muskrat have his rock back. Back in your pond, Big Frog. There you go, Stalwart Moose.
Oh, I'm missing 2. Oh, no, I hope I didn't miss Sam the bear in one of the other when we went to go see him.
Moonhag's gotta be imprisoned in her lake. Crafty goblins go here. That's the pious pelican spot. The wise princess goes in the big wooden house, of course.
And I'm missing those 2 as well. Okay.
I wish she just explained all this to us. The old bear's gifts for the princess. I'm totally blanking on that story. What did he give her again?
Why don't we open up the book and check?
Okay. The old bear's gift to the princess. Oh, there we go. No, that's fixes the bear and the princess. Okay. I think this is the one. So, the bear and the princess. Once upon a time in the ancient and deep forest, the old bear stood on the bank of the river, swiping at salmon on their way to the spawning grounds. Just as he'd got his paw on a particular fat one, he heard a woman shouting for help. He considered simply eating his salmon, but then she screamed again, and he lumbered over to investigate. After a short walk, he found the princess clinging to the top of the tree while a wolf snarled and snapped at the base of the tree. Old Bear would normally not get in the middle of such a situation. After all, as a fellow predator, he understood the wolf's need to hunt. But when he saw the princess, he was struck by her beauty, and he knew he had to help. With a great roar, the bear heaved onto his hind legs, rising to his full height. The wolf snapped and snarled in his direction. Uh-oh. What happened? No. The wolf snapped and snarled in his direction, but the bear roared again, and the wolf took off into the trees, tail between his legs. The old bear fell back down onto all fours and stared up at the princess. She regarded him fearfully. "You can come down," he said. "How do I know you didn't save me just so you could eat me yourself?" asked the princess. "I suppose this is a fair question," admitted the old bear, "but I promise I won't eat you." The princess had no reason to trust the old bear except that he had kind eyes, and so she slowly made her way down the tree. When she reached the ground, the bear only watched her, and so she supposed she was not going to be eaten today. "Thank you," she told the old bear. "Of course," he said. "Can I walk with you back to your home?" "Of course," said the princess. And so the princess and the old bear walked together through the forest back to the big wooden house. After that day, the princess would occasionally find gifts from the bear. A fresh caught salmon. Oh, okay, here are the gifts. A fresh caught salmon. All right. a handful of ripe berries. So salmon berries, a newly bloomed bluebell, must be some sort of flower. One spring, when a sudden thaw flooded the path out of the princess's home, the old bear was there, and she rode his back across the river. The old bear began to think that the princess should be his mate. After all, she had no mate, and she needed one, and he could keep her warm and provide her a much suitable den and catch fish for her, and protect her from wolves. She, in turn, would brush out his fur and pick berries without smushing half of them and scratch that one part of his back he couldn't reach. And with how she took care of the goblins, she would be an excellent mother for his cubs. One day the old bear came with a ring of spruce and asked the princess to be his bride. "I'm sorry," said the princess. "You are a very good friend, and I appreciate all you've done for me, but I cannot marry you. You're a bear. I'm a princess. It would never work." The old bear was crushed. "Can we still be friends?" he asked. "We will always be friends," said the princess, "but I will never marry you." The old bear and the princess carried on their friendship, and after 1 year he tried again to ask her to be his bride, but once again she refused him. This happened 1 year later, and 1 year after that, and then finally the princess said, "Old bear, you are my dear friend, and I appreciate all you have done for me, but I would sooner you have left me to the wolves than marry you, and that is how it'll always be. I have my hands full with 2 goblins who live under my house, and they are all I need." That wounded the old bear deeply, but it was finally enough to stop his proposals. They remained friends, and he continued to give her gifts of fresh salmon and ripe berries and newly bloomed bluebells. But the old bear never again asked the princess to be his bride, much as he might have wanted to. And that is how the princess befriended the old bear, and how she refused him. Oh, wow. All right. So let's see. So these look like salmon.
Fresh caught salmon? Some roses, maybe?
No, not roses.
A newly bloomed bluebell? A handful of ripe berries?
There we go.
Nice. Man, he had it bad. Just couldn't let go.
Sorry for the note under the door like a prison inmate. You okay? I stopped by and I rang a couple of times this week, but you didn't answer. I could see the light in the hayloft, so I figured you were in, but didn't want to talk. I hope I didn't ruin everything. I know it probably came on kind of strong, but the thing is, I don't know how to talk to a woman like you. You're strong and kind, and you know so much. It's hard for me to know how to keep up. I guess all that went to my head. But I want you to know I got the message, and I'm going to get out of your hair now, and there doesn't need to be any bad feelings. We can pass in the street and say hello, or not. It's okay. P.S. I noticed your car was leaking, so I put some sealant in there. You might need to take it to the shop, though. Let me know if you want me to come with you, because sometimes these guys try to rip you off. If not, no big deal. Sam. Gotcha. All right. So he did have feelings for her, and that probably did mess up his marriage, but she was not looking for anything else.
Beaver's repair list.
That's the story where the princess's house gets damaged by a storm and the animals help her fix it.
Yeah. What did they do to fix it again?
All right, we're going to have to find that out. Before I get to these last two, I'll go ahead and stop the video here. Thanks again for joining me. Would definitely appreciate a like on the video, and make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll know when the next one drops and we figure out these last two puzzles in here. So far I'm doing good, so hopefully I'll be able to get the last two. And yeah, unfortunately I think I might have missed possibly some figurines that could be put down on here, but oh well, that's okay. Until then, I hope you have a good one.